Namaskar friends, let's start. AIB 12 Sete. The first constitutional amendment was enacted in 1951. A person instigates any person to do an offense or illegal act or omission at text section 107 IPC. A landmark habeas corpus petition was filed during emergency that is MC Mehta vs. Union of India. Examination in chief is conducted by chief examination of court, a lawyer appointed by accused, lawyer appointed by government, preceding judge in a court. The Convention of Climate Change was the outcome of Rio de Janeiro Conference. Who is a protected workman? Workman who is an executive or office bearer of a registered trade union in the establishment. A trademark is a visual symbol applied to articles of commerce with a view to distinguish the articles from other. It is in the form of a word, device, or label. The Indian legal system has evolved a new technique of alternate dispute resolution, which is popularly known as Lok Adalat. It owes its origin to the statutory recognition by passing Legal Service Authorities Act 1987. Shah Bano case was related to maintenance of divorced Muslim women who can move PIL in High Court and Supreme Court. Any public spirited person, NGO or association, group of public spirited person who have no personal interest. Doctrine of pleasure applies to civil servant. Section 24 of Advocate Act 1961 provides appointment of Attorney General, regular attendance of law college, admitted for enrollment, bar or state roll, election to State Bar Council. Articles of a company can be altered by shareholders by passing a special resolution. Article 361 provides protection and immunities to the president and governors from being prosecuted in courts. Uttering of words with deliberate intention to wound religious sentiments will be dealt with 298 of IPC. Under Section 320, subsection 1 CRPC for criminal intimidation with section of IPC is applicable 506. Which of the following is known is an innovative form of alternate dispute resolution mechanism, Lok Adalat? Which of the following is not a guardian of the property? Muslim minor brother who is a garnishi, third party who is instructed by way of legal notice to surrender money to settle a debt or claim. Under Section 18 of the Land Acquisition Act 1894, which of the following officer is empowered to refer to the matter of court? Collector. For specific performance of a contract suit is to be instituted in 3 years. PAN is defined under Income Tax Act 1961. A marriage with a woman before completion of her iddat is irregular. 10 of the CPC provides for stay of suit, who is prevented from being testified under 118 of the Indian Evidence Act. Lunatic who cannot understand the questions to put him. Extreme old age person who cannot give rational answers to the question. Tender age person who cannot give rational answers to the questions. Supreme Court decided in SR Bombay vs. Union of India relating to President rule in state. Recovery of the specific immovable property is defined in Section 5 of the Specific Relief Act. 29 of the Wealth Tax Act deals with appeal in Supreme Court. Collector shall under the Land Acquisition Act 1894 gives immediate notice of any correction made in the award to the whole person included. Clerical or arithmetical mistakes in judgment, decrees or orders, etc. can be corrected under 152 of the IPC of the CPC. Any confidential statement by the accused given to magistrate is admissible. Supreme Court has decided in Keshavanand Bharati vs. State of Kerala that Parliament can amend any provisions of the Constitution but not to alter the basic structure and basic feature of the Constitution. Under which of the following section of the CRPC, police can arrest accused without warrant? 41. A is at work with a hatchel. The head of files off and kills a man who is standing by. If there was no want of proper caution on the part of A, his act is executable and not an offence. It is contained in 80 of IPC. Delhi Domestic Working Women Forum versus Union of India 1995 1 SC 14. In this PIL, which issue is exposed before the court? The plight of some domestic maids who were sexually assaulted by army men. Which chapter of cyber law provides the legal recognition of digital signature? Chapter 3. FIR give information of commission of a cognizable crime. Definition of complaint is described in Consumer Protection Act Section 2 subsection 1 subsection B. Which of the following deals with plaintiff interpolator suits in the Code of Civil Procedure Code Order 35 Rule 1? Which is not the private right? None of the above. That is right of property, freedom, education. None of the above. Which of the following is true of summons under Section 61 CRPC? Milder form of process. It is for appearance. It is for producing documents or things. All of them. Kashmir Singh versus State of Punjab is a leading case. Dying declaration admission. None of the above. Main objective of Section 138 of the Indian if the Negotiable Instrument Act is recovery of the check amount in case check is issued by the peer is bounced. Part 3 of Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996 formalizes the process of conciliation. Separation of judiciary from executive is guaranteed in Constitution under Article 50. In camera trial is conducted in camera trial is conducted in the cases charged under Section 376 IPC. The family court have concurrent jurisdiction to pass a decree for dissolution of marriage under the Indian Divorce Act, in which case the order was passed. It was passed in Dr. Mary versus Dr. Vincent, year 1991. Punishment for advocate for misconduct is defined in Advocate 1961 Act by Section 35. Which one is a case of public interest? Vishaka was the state of Rajasthan, Minarka Mills was the Union of India, Municipal Councils, Ratlam versus Vardichan, the year 1980, all of the above. Under Section 239, CRPC magistrate can discharge the accused if charges are groundless. Article 213 empowers the governors to promulgate ordinance when state legislature is not in session. Person arrested should not be detained more than 24 hours. Who of the following Muslim is not entitled to maintenance? An illegitimate son. All illegitimate son. In civil cases, Indian Evidence Act bestows burden of proof on petitioner. In which of the following section 59 CRPC the discharge of the arrested person by a police officer can take place? On his own blood, on bail, and a special order of the magistrate, all of them. Financial relation between state and center are defined in Constitution between 264 to 293. Mahatma Gandhi was jailed and prosecuted by British regime in 1922 at Ahmedabad under 124A of IPC for sedition and disaffection to the government. Police can seek a bond for good behavior under 109-110 of CRPC from habitual offenders. Daya Bhanga school presumes that a family because it is a joint property. This statement is incorrect. Meaning of industrial dispute according to Industrial Dispute Act is dispute between employer employee, employer workman, and workman in connection with the employment and non-employment. All of the above. English case Ryland versus Fletcher laid down a very important rule: absolute liability, vicarious liability, indirect liability, financial liability. Which of the following is not an essential for valid sale? There must be an agreement to sale. Custodial death is perhaps one of the worst crime in a civilized society governed by rule of law, in which case Supreme Court made this remarks. D.K. Base was the state of Bengal. A suit may for compensation for false imprisonment, the period of limitation is 1 year when the imprisonment ends. Rule of law is defined by AIBE. What is the time prescribed for filing an FIR? No time limit. Which of the following is a true for rules framed by Supreme Court with reference to appeals? None of this. And against order passed under 27 of the Consumer Protection Act 1956 by National Commission lies in Supreme Court, which is the body that awards punishment to the advocates for misconduct. Disciplinary Committee. Which section of the Seals of Good Act 1930 deals with anticipatory breach of contract? Section 60. Criminal proceeding against the infringer is enabled in Copyright Act by invoking the provision 63 to 70. Which section of Indian Registration Act 1908 provides with compulsory registration of the instrument of gifts and movable property? Section 17. State government's power to control the road transport is provided in Motor Vehicle Act 1988 under Section 67 of the Motor Vehicle Act 1988. Doctrines of list pendants is given under which section of the Transfer of Property Act 52. Which of the following statement is true regarding the characteristic of international law? It is formal law enforcing agencies. Deferred meher is payable at the time of divorce or at the time of death of spouse. It is true under Sunni law. Dying declaration must be made by deceased before death. Judgment should be delivered to the parties or their pleaders in the open court by delivering whole of the judgment, by reading out whole of the judgment, by reading out operative part of the judgment. Which of the following deals with evidence of for prosecution? Section 242. Abetting the commissions of suicide is given under none of the above. Control over subordinate court shall be vested in High Court. Section 35 of the CPC provides payment of interest. Any question suggesting the answer which the person putting it expect to receive is called coercive question, confusing question, misleading question, and rhetoric question. According to clause 1, 2, and 3 of section 140 of the Civil Code of Civil Procedure Code, a surety may render himself personally liable. He may give a charge upon his property. He may undertake a personal liability in charge property as further charge. Section 49 of Factories Act explains about welfare officer. The word case under section 115 of the CPC is of wide import and it includes civil proceeding, other suits, and is not restricted to anything contained in the section to the entity of the proceedings in a civil code. A finds a purse with money not knowing to whom it belongs. He afterward discovers that it belongs to B and appropriate to his own use. A is guilty of criminal misappropriation. The word is not possessed of sufficient means in order 33 rule 1 to none of this. Section 22B of Legal Service Authority Act empower the central and state authorities to none of the above. Indian Evidence Act was enacted in 1872. which is the correct statement with regard to the professional ethics of a lawyer. Lawyer have no right to go on strike or go give call of boycott, and who can shall not influence the decision of a court by an illegal or improper means. Advocate abusing the process of court is guilty in misconduct. All of the above. Droit administration is a system for administration of French system. Which act is covering cyber crimes? IT Act. In the tort of conspiracy, the purpose of combination must violate legal right of the victim. Cancellation of instrument is mentioned in section 31 to 33 of Special Relief Act. Unfair labor practice by employers. Victimization, false implication in criminal case, untrue allegation of absence without leave. Coastal regulation zone notification was issued by in central government in 1991. Who is lawful guardian? Who is in law represents the minor, who is appointed by court, and who is authorized to represent unmarried daughter of the above. Under Companies Act, every person subscribing to memorandum of a company must take one share. GST came into force on 1/4/17/2017. First, we have 2017.